Welcome back to the QB Huddle podcast. Another week of college and NFL football in the books. We apologize for missing last week. We had some scheduling conflicts, some technical difficulties with our interview with Solo, but we're back. And this week, we have a record-setting quarterback from the UCO, University of Central Oklahoma. Jett Huff is joining us. Welcome, Jett. We're going to give you a round of applause for breaking all of Brandon's records. So Jett is here to join us to just talk a little bit about his story. He's got a big game coming up this Saturday on ESPN. And without further ado, Brandon Huey, take it away, my friend.
Man, this is a special one. I'm excited about this. Division II doesn't get a lot of love. And, you know, what Central Oklahoma is doing right now is something special. We haven't seen it in 20 years since my cousin D.D. Carter played. They're ranked 7th right now. You know, they won their conference. They're 11-1 after that overtime victory last week. He gave me a heart attack, but I wish I was there. But, man, you put on a show, 371 passing yards. My goodness. So right now he's leading. He's broken the record, the career season record for most touchdowns, setting that school record. He's at 33 right now. He's ranked nationally in touchdown passes at number 3. And he's also ranked in top 2 in passing yards and 3rd in touchdowns. My goodness, man, you've been on a roll. So as a proud alum, my brother, I am proud of you. I'm glad you are on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim's already introduced him, Mr. Jett Huff.
Oh,
so how's things been going, man? How's things been going? Talk to me a little bit about, you know, the growth, you know, from College Station. I know you're another Texas kid, so you know, you're a coach's son. You've had a lot of championship pedigree in the earlier years. So talk to me a little bit about the early experiences that shaped you out to the quarterback you are today.
Yeah, well, you know, my dad's been a head high school coach pretty much since I've been born. And, I mean, I've grown up in a locker room around dudes that were a lot older than me. But all I saw was, you know, success and wins. And that's, you know, thanks to my dad. You know, I think he's the greatest coach ever. A little biased, but he's had a lot of success since I've been young. And so just growing up in a locker room and getting to experience, you know, so many district championships and trips to the playoffs and just being around guys that care, I think that kind of gave me the love for the game that I have now. And that's really, you know, been one of the biggest parts of my growth and my football journey.
Nice, man. And also, man, with that, I mean, growing up as a coach's son, I mean, you're already instilling discipline. You're probably in the film room a lot longer than most players. And so you've had an opportunity to step up. Now, also, you know, a little bit of resiliency comes in. I mean, you sign out of school, you go to University of Houston, battle that out your freshman year. Talk to us a little bit about that journey, because I, too, had a similar one many, many years ago where you might have loved the place, but you have to make a decision early, and you have to make it for yourself. So just talk to us about that.
Yeah, I went to Houston at high school. Freshman year, I redshirted, and kind of after my freshman spring, after spring ball and my exit meeting, you know, meet with my position coach, and, you know, he kind of, you know, shot me straight as far as what my future looked like there. And it was basically, you know, the conversation of, you know, you're probably never going to be a starter here. And I, you know, I've said it before, I appreciate that honesty, you know, more than anything else. And, you know, still loved him as a coach. He was a great guy. But, you know, hard conversations have to be had, especially in college football.
Yep.
So I kind of knew then, you know, this probably isn't going to work out how I wanted it to. But I also knew in the fall that I was going to be on the travel squad. And I didn't want to pass up being able to go to some of the cool Big 12 venues, you know, that a lot of guys don't get to experience. And I got to see some cool places, travel the country a little bit. And so I stayed for my sophomore fall. And, you know, it was we didn't have a great season as far as wins, losses, but learned a lot. It was a really good experience, and obviously I met some of my best friends there, dudes that I talk to every day now. So it really helped kind of shape me into what I am now. Motivated me a lot. Wanted to prove to myself, I could still play. I could still do this. It just took a few years to get where I am now.
I got you. Hey, it builds character, man. I mean, as we all know, college football is a business, and I tell, my guys this going all the time, and, you got to understand it. There's several quarterbacks that want the same position, right? Want the same opportunity. I bet that put a chip on your shoulder too, and look at you now. So talk to me a little bit about, that process where you're thinking like, hey, man, I'm in these big D1 stadiums. Things are going cool. I'm with my buddies. Life is great. But damn it, I want to play, right? I want to get on that field and show what I can really do. And so walk me through that process as far as just going to Oklahoma from Houston, Texas. You go all the way up to Edmond, Oklahoma, which is a nice area. I lived there, stayed in the dorm, stayed at cheer. It was cool. How was that recruiting process to where you got to where you are now?
So when I was in high school, I got recruited by UCO a little bit. And when I was young, I actually lived in Midwest City for 6 years. My dad was the head football coach there.
Wow, I grew up in Midwest City, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
look at that.
So, growing up, I have family in Edmond.
Okay.
It wasn't just like foreign to me. I was familiar with the area for sure. But getting recruited by them, they called me pretty early on when I entered the portal. And I kind of figured, this was going to be, if they offered me, it was going to be one of the places I would highly consider. And that decision was made within a week of entering the portal, really. I made it pretty fast. I visited here in high school. I love the campus, love the facility. I love Edmond. And I knew, Coach Dorrell has won 3 national championships at the Division II level.
Yep.
And I figured, he knows what he's doing. So I thought it'd just be a great place to come to, and it's worked out really well.
I love to hear it, man. Edmond's a great place. And so being a hometown kid, you just gravitated towards that area. It's crazy how you got the familiar ties to Midwest City. Was it Carl Albert or the Midwest City Bombers that he coached?
Midwest City Bombers.
Wow. That's a small world, Tim, let me tell you.
How about that?
Yeah, so obviously you're making this adjustment, right? And it's a big transition for you, though you feel comfortable, you feel confident with the coach. What did you focus on in between that freshman and sophomore year to reach your level of performance in year one?
It was really a process. My redshirt freshman year, last fall at Houston, I was just kind of going through the motions a little bit. I knew I wasn't going to play. I knew I was leaving. But the first step was really finding the drive and the motivation again, to be great. Just because when you're not in the mix, it's easy to lose focus, lose sight of what you're trying to accomplish. So that last winter, I really had to, think a lot about what I wanted this year to look like and what I needed to do, what I needed to change to be able to achieve those goals. And to be honest, the first part was I had to lose some weight. I mean, sounds kind of funny, but I was getting a little heavy. I couldn't move very, very well. And it's always been a big part of my game. So, I had to lose weight. I had to, get strong again and just get more in shape before I even stepped on the field. That way, when I went to practice, I wasn't going to go halfway through practice and just be too tired to finish. So it was like finding motivation to work hard, to be great again. And it definitely took some time, and that's before we even started spring football. But going into spring football, the one thing I wanted to, I wouldn't even say really work on, but I just wanted to prove to myself that I can play. It had been It had been
Right.
2 full years before I really took like meaningful snaps again. And I wanted to just show myself, I still got it. I can still compete at a high level. I can still make plays. So that was really what I was focused on before I even thought about, being able to be the quarterback here, the starting quarterback, and lead a great offense. I just wanted to show myself that, I can do this, and it definitely took some time.
I love it, man. I mean, it's all about the journey. It's about the journey. And so, you're going through tough times showing that you can play and develop, but you happen to have some chemistry with a lot of guys around you, right? You got a great offense. You got a top 10 rusher. You have, T. Davis, who's up for the Harlan Hill now. In backstory, I heard he would start playing his senior year at Choctaw. I got a couple buddies that used to coach, and I'm like, this is your first year, and you're already the #1 receiver in the country. So you also got Schumann, you got Delso, 2 guys that are, almost 1,000-yard guys, and you got another guy who's a cowbell. So how have that tandem, how has that elevated your game? I know that's made it a little bit easier for you, right? Don't feel like you got to put everything on your shoulders.
Yeah, no doubt. And it all started, when I got here. We put in so much work, just extra time, really, perfecting routes and knowing where we need to be and whatnot. But having those guys on the field, and, anytime any of them touch the ball, it can turn into a big play. And that makes me feel like I don't have to do anything special, anything more than I need to do. I just need to put the ball in their area, and, we're going to be successful. And so that's really nice knowing whoever's on the field has the ability to make a big play.
Right. That's great to hear. I mean, offensive chemistry is extremely important. I remember going back with Gallimore and Kendrick Higgins and, Von Tunglin and throwing in the snow, when we had conditioning. I mean, it's very important. Guys used to set up, 7-on-7 in the summers, just players only. So it seems like you guys are doing all the right things. Continue that, because you guys are very young and talented. And right now, you're ranked amongst the top teams in D2. What do you think what do you think about this team that sets you guys apart to make this run?
I think we're just really close. We spend so much time together outside of football. And,
I love that. Yeah.
At a big school, you don't always get that.
Right.
Obviously, there's guys from all walks of life. But here, everybody has such a similar goal.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it so much easier to just really be close. And, Coach Doral made that an emphasis at the beginning of the spring. And we really took it to heart. And I think it shows, every Saturday. Everybody believes in each other. And with how much time we spent together, it's just a big trust thing. And so we don't start going back and forth at each other when, we're down late in the fourth. It's just like, we've been here before. We trust each other.
Test it. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's helped us a lot this year.
Okay. Well, man, you guys play Ferris State again. It's going to be on ESPN as well, correct?
Yes, ESPN.
Nice. What time?
At noon on Saturday.
Ooh.
Noon
I'm
Saturday.
ready, man. I'm ready. Let's go.
Fired
Let's
up.
go. Is it going to be snowing? It's in Michigan, right?
I think it's going to snow the
It's in
night
Michigan?
before.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That does not sound like fun. I can tell you, being from Chicago, it's going to be very, very cold. Bring layers. Do not, bring layers. Some hand warmers are going to be important for you. It's going to be a cold, cold night, I can promise you.
Right.
No, we're prepared for the cold. We want to go up there and have some fun, though. It's playoff football.
Absolutely.
And I haven't gotten to see you play. I'm gonna tune in on Saturday. I don't have. I'm gonna be on the golf course with Brandon. We're gonna be watching the game on the iPad during the round.
I'll watch you, man.
Hey, I want to know a 2-part question, really. Number one, who's the quarterback you looked up to growing up that you kind of emulated your game or wanted to be? And then number two, who in the NFL currently would you say that your game most mirrors?
I think I kind of have the same answer for both. When I was in middle school, I was an OU fan growing up, so Baker was the guy coming in. I watched a lot of Matt Castle when I was a kid.
Chiefs.
Just Chiefs. He wasn't, the best ever. Just saw him on TV the most, but I really got into Baker. I just love he's an undersized guy, and I just love the fire he plays with, and he's he just brings so much juice and energy, and he's a great player. And if I want to play like anybody, I want to play like him. Even though I'm a Chiefs fan, it'd be awesome to play like Mahomes, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to go do the things he does on the field.
Sure.
But Baker's the guy. He's the real deal.
And we're big, especially
big Baker
me.
fans
We're
out
big
here,
Baker
man.
Mayfield fans on this show.
Yeah.
I've seen Baker play live a few times. You seem really laid back. Baker Mayfield would never be this chill on an interview. So I got to see. Is there a is there a switch that you flip come game time and you become a different guy?
I try to keep it pretty calm for the most part, because I never want somebody to see something that they would think differently of me.
Okay.
But there's definitely some times
Fire.
where I can get real fired up after a touchdown or something. But then I try to bring it back down to earth.
Okay.
Just being modest, I
I
watched him play live, and he had that grit. And I told you, he reminded me of Baker.
I saw it. And I love the poise that you're showing and everything that Brandon said. Look, you grew up in the shadow of Texas A&M, right? And you guys got some big-time quarterbacks coming through there. You sign at Houston. Things don't quite go your way. You don't tuck tail. You get strong. You learn for a year. You take in that experience. And now look what you've done. I mean, 340 yards per game, 38 touchdowns. You're about to go up to Michigan in the freezing cold and play on ESPN and whoop some booty up there. We're excited to watch that. I did not wear this on purpose for you today. I just happened to wear Patrick Mahomes' jersey, and you happen to be a KC fan. I have a closet full of jerseys, so I'm really a Cowboys and a Bears fan. But today it's all about Patrick, and so it's good that we had you on there for that. Baker Mayfield, listen, if you watch this weekend, Baker hands off the ball and then sprints down the field to block a safety. Is that you? Are you going down to take the head off a safety to get your running back some yards?
I saw that, and I've never done it, but it kind of made me want to try.
Love that.
So we'll see if I take a page out of his book.
Gotta love the QBs with linebacker personalities. I love that.
I love it. We're going to be rooting for you. Number 2. Listen, this is a huge weekend for you, so enjoy it. Jett Huff, record-setting quarterback. I love the fact that you're younger, better looking, and more talented than Brandon Newey. You broke all of his records. That's outstanding, and I'm just giving Brandon crap because he's younger, better looking, more talented than me. So I had to find somebody.
So let me ask you this, man. Despite having this crazy season, and I know you're probably like, what in the world is going on? Right? It's a different experience. So moving forward, and not trying to think so far in the future, but you've got to have this in mind. What are some of the goals that you have as far as development as a quarterback in the coming seasons? Because you're a young kid, man, and the future's now. And so, as far as just, what areas are you trying to improve on the most?
I definitely need to be better running the ball. I think I've done a decent job scrambling and throwing, but there's opportunities this year I've scrambled, and I just don't have a big playability. I've never been that fast, but I think that would help put more pressure on defense. But I really try not to think about what can I do specifically. I just think how can I make myself better for the offense just in general? And, the better we are as an offense, the better we are as a team. So I've never been a big personal goal guy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you want to get bigger, faster, stronger, throw the ball farther, harder, more accurate. Sure. That's all things, you can work on. But, the big goal is conference championship, national championship. So I try to stay away from really personal goals. The only goal really is to win.
Just win, baby.
That's
Well,
it.
man, we love it, man, and we appreciate you coming on. It's especially from one UCO quarterback to another, man. I love to see you have your success and just continue to be that team guy, team first. And I've always said to quarterbacks, you go as they go as you go, and so you're doing a phenomenal job. Just stay the course, man. And we're looking forward to having you back on soon. Also, man, in the off season, an opportunity for us to connect. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that, man.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you come on down. We'll get you in the film room. We'll see what you're looking at.
Yes, put me
Oh,
on
yeah.
the big,
We'll see
put me
where
on
the
whiteboard.
improvement needs to be. But hey, best of luck to you this weekend. Thanks so much for taking time out of the film room and studies to come out here and spend some time with us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to watching you kick some butt on Saturday.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having
Roll
me on.
shows, baby.
Roll
See ya.
shows.
Have a
Yes,
great
sir.
weekend.
Thank
You
you.
too, man.